All right, you guys, thank you for coming back to Caffeinated Chats, episode 4, where today we're going to be talking about masculinity and navigating adulting. It's a raw conversation about being a man and adulting in today's world. Woo. So to my right, we got Larry, Orlando, Sam, Rome, and I'm your host, Nathan. So we're going to get into the topics there. We're going to come in hot. So, all right, fellas, first question of the day. We're going to brew up a strong conversation here. You've all heard the old adage that real men drink their coffee black. And sometimes real men spill their coffee black, but you didn't spill it black to you, Larry. But in today's world, the definition of masculinity seems to be as diverse as the coffee options as your local cafe. So what's the perfect blend of qualities that truly defines a man, and how does faith add or complicate to that blend? Who wants to dive at this first?
Where everybody looks at me. So, give it to me again. Give it to me straight.
What's your definition of being a man today? And this may add or complicate to that definition.
Well, there should be what helps you define being a man, right? So there's so many definitions nowadays about what a man is and what a man isn't. But for me, being a man is, first and foremost, taking responsibility for what you do. It's protecting your family and your friends, and it's providing for your family, right? And it's being a pillar in your community in some way. How are you contributing in a positive way to society? And so I think it starts on first, and then we expand to the rest of society. But how can it be a positive? How can you have the positive impact? So to me, that's what being a man is: being responsible and taking responsibility. Because the opposite, you're not going to be a man or a true man if you're always blaming other people for stuff, never taking responsibility. You're not contributing. You're not protecting anybody. You're not providing anything of value. Then you almost have no use. And I say that in broad terms, that everybody's, there's always specific circumstances where, sometimes you can't do this or do that. So I want to be respectful for some of those people who experience ghosts. But for me, being a man, the big thing is being responsible and taking responsibility. That's the big thing.
And I would piggyback on that. I'd probably agree with Larry with that on 90%. It's the last part. And I disagree. But I believe in that being a man is everything he said, except that I know I'm a man, I take care of all those things, but I'm not a pillar of my community. I'm born localized. I try to take care of my family, do what I need to do. I think I'm a good example, but as far as a pillar of the community, most people don't even know who I have in my community. But the good thing about it, and one of the things I'm going to capitalize on that, I really appreciate what he said about taking care of responsibilities, taking care of family, taking care of those things that we as men are supposed to do. I think nowadays it so oftentimes gets confused as being a man and being a male. They're putting male out there, putting male or not men, no. They're not men or any low, but oftentimes it's equated to having a penis makes you a man. No, it don't. And I think that's also where some of the mentality comes from. Back in the day, I thought being a man was honestly sitting with a whole bunch of women, doing my thing, being out there, out in the streets, and I'm a man. You got married, had kids, had responsibility, yeah. And in the end, even through the wisdom of God, we as men are ultimately held responsible for what has to serve our family. That we're the ones left in charge. And not to get with feminism or anything like that, to say that, hey, he's dominating me and I'm a woman and he's dominating me and controlling me or anything like that. But a man is ordained by God. A man is supposed to be the leader of his house. So yes, sir. And when things in the household go wrong, ultimately with God and oftentimes look like community people is those principles of the Lord, that the man will be held responsible for what went wrong in his house because he's ultimately elected responsible. So I take that with a serious responsibility when it comes to that. My daughter is struggling right now, really struggling with some of her decisions. It's not the way she was raised, but she's doing some things that we just quite simply, her mother and I don't agree with at all. And I'm thinking, man, am I going to be held responsible for this? What you doing? You know how they oftentimes say, the apple don't fall far from a tree? Yeah. Oh, this apple fall way far from a tree. This is not doing an apple tree. She's like a fig. Because she's doing this nothing that came up in our household, but she's out in the world and everything right now. So as a man, I find it incumbent upon myself. I'm trying to reach out to her and really try to help her shape and mold her, not control her to doing things better. She knows better, but she won't do better. And so I think in the end, that's ultimately following my responsibility. So that's how deep I think it goes.
Appreciate the question, Nate Dogg. You know, you brought faith into the middle of this question, what defines a man? And so you asked, does it complicate it, or let's make complicated or add to it? And that's that question changed the whole narrative of the question in the question. So I'm going to say, because of faith, it's supposed to simplify our role as a man, not complicate it. Society has its own interpretation and definition of what manhood is, and you guys touched on it, providing, being a pillar of our community and all those things. But Orlando went down the road I wanted to go down was we were supposed to be aligned with God. A lot of times we define man as our machismo or bravado, our providing, our ego, pimping, whatever that is, the world says that's popular for the moment. But right now, if we bring God into the middle of it, as we should, we're supposed to be aligned with him.
Yep.
And as we're aligned with God, as Jesus is over the church, man is over his house, then we can get the proper instruction and guidance and direction so that way we can instruct our families. But a lot of times we're trying to figure it out on our own. Yeah. Because of our ego. I did that. I provided that. I gave that. I did that. When if we're not careful, there won't be the checks and balances. We submit to God, then we want our wives to submit to us, and then our children obey us. So we're not aligned. A lot of the other stuff falls apart. So I define manhood as being aligned with God and sharing of God's word with my family. There used to be a lot of things I thought was manhood and what I'm supposed to do, but really that's my first command, is to trust in the Lord. And so now I got rid of all the other things that are required based on what the world says. Obviously we want to provide for our families. Obviously we want our living respectful communities, and we should be out there so we could be model examples for other families and other households that don't have men in the home. When I grew up in a single parent home. So my community, I had neighbors that took me places with them and did things, took me on vacation and saw how the mother-father dynamic played out. But at the end of the day, it was because of the Lord, how I valued manhood now. There's a lot of men doing great things in society, but they're not aligned with God. And that's where we get caught up in putting these celebrities on a pedestal or these politicians in branch seats. We look at manhood and all the roles men play. We look at what society says and we celebrate that. But the man that's sharing God's word, we don't talk about that. That don't make the 10 o'clock news. That's what we're supposed to do, just as a core value, being centered with God. So I look at manhood as really just trusting God with his commandments and then let him take care of everything else in that work.
Could I ask you a question about that? Real quick. Oh, forget it. Something I'm noticing. Now, I want you to capitalize. I'll see what your thoughts are. For the first time ever, now we are all men of color here. We're men of color, African American, whatever you want to say. For the first time ever, I'm starting to meet brothers from around this area. And we spoke about the staple of God in our lives. I'm starting to meet brothers. First time I met 4 brothers out there. 4 of them. Don't believe in God at all. That used to be the staple of the black church. I'm starting to see a little trend now of meeting people. I've never heard of this before. Black men, because when I met them, we were playing basketball, we were hanging out, working out. I said, hey, you go to church around or anything like that? They were like, oh, no, I don't believe in God. Then I met another brother. I don't believe in God. It's like 4 brothers I met. So now, even with that being a staple, that was a cornerstone of our faith, especially where we came from through slavery times and everything. I'm starting to see in modern times more brothers who do not believe in God. So that aspect of having the godly point of view of what a man is I think it's going to start to be lost, because we're seeing many people of color, black men, who are starting not to believe in God anymore.
So you touched on that, and I'll just add to that.
Fair enough.
That you brought that up. You mentioned you're not a color of your community.
I am not.
That's what we're lacking in with manhood, because men don't see other men that are trusting in God and leading by His example. So what happens? We play church, but we don't walk it. We're good actors. We're amazing. Everyone deserves an Oscar in the church because we praise and shout hallelujah. But when it comes to going out and sharing the gospel, we don't do that. So they don't see that model example. That's why men are leading the church. That's why when you go to church, you see could I believe women.
Absolutely.
And the men are home doing something else, watching the football game on Sundays. So,
Well, that's right. It's a football stories in church too.
I need Derek. I need you again. So
it's probably supposed to go out and make disciples of others. So because they don't see men leading that way, they think we're not around. They don't think we're out there. They don't think we exist. And so how for these brothers that you've run into, for you to decipher, for you to share God's word.
And I must agree, when I found this, I also kind of shocked about another one. I didn't disciple, I didn't say anything. I just kind of taught them a little bit. I'm like, wow, you ever got what then? And I kind of went on my, okay, I went on my merry way.
See, God wanted to use you.
That was enough for Julie.
And I didn't listen. He missed those signs. What is the time? Why do you think you ran into 4 gentlemen?
Yeah.
But why do you think we're all faith believers here?
Amen.
Look how guys used me to introduce all y'all to right there. And I met a Hertzstetz. I met him working at a nonprofit. I met him through him. I met you through church. So because of that, we're doing this podcast. That's not by accident, right? That's because we share the gospel. So we don't do that as men. We could do all the worldly things together. We can go to a football game together. We can go out and grab a beer. We can go hike. We can go shoot some hoops. Right. We can go do the world thing, but we don't share the basic principle of why we're here.
And that's our main tenet, is to make disciples of men. And I miss that. And that's my bad.
My inquiry, Lynn, is granted, we all have opportunities that are presented to us, okay? But then where's that fear factor come in? Because once we observe, okay, whoa, here is an opportunity. Even if you might miss that first one, but you said you entered 4, right? By number 3, you'd be like, well, would you want to go to a church? Hey, I got a church, or I go to a church, or you just bring him into a conversation. Do you think as men, those that are of faith and those are not, there is a fear factor to step over that line, you just even bring Christ things in conversation, because we're talking about how faith, is an element of men.
Yeah.
So, is there a fear factor? And as men, should we be afraid of that?
Afraid to talk the gospel, or or to share Christ? No, that I wasn't afraid at all. I just keep it real. I just don't.
Element, behind being a man, is there a fear factor?
No, wasn't a fear back.
I'm not fearful of sharing the gospel, but it is an opportunity that we miss a lot because we're so conditioned to do what the world says we should do. Like we'll invite people to come out and see a concert, a comedy show, but we won't invite them to church.
Absolutely right.
Okay, and we just get caught up in the worldly stuff, and we miss those opportunities to be a blessing. So again, what defines a man? It's everything we've said, but we got to put God in the middle of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you heard the term, a great leader was first a good follower, right? So, we have to be able to follow God in order to be a good leader, because that's where the instruction comes from. And so, what better instructions than to be received by the Creator, right? It's like, I made all this. I know how this looks. It's mine. So just do what I tell you, please. And right? And so if you follow that simple, just do it.
I really laughed at the game.
90s, it's 3rd and 2. I got to.
Maybe 4th and 1. 3rd and 2, I'm going to 4th and 1.
So I'm looking at my fantasy team by Raider Bidder guy.
Geez, you gotta do something about this. I put $100 in this. Here we got a piece ready. Even wear us out.
But no, being a man is being a good leader, and to be a good leader, you must be a good follower first.
if you're going to be like your body. And to his point, that's what I've been about being a creative community. I'm not saying you got to be a statesman or a governor or something. It's just, you could be your local community. You could be in your church. And you shouldn't be afraid to preach the gospel to people. It's because, you can lead you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. Right? All you got to do is introduce you. It's not your job to try to convert.
Yeah.
And when people take that point of view, I get irritated.
Yeah.
Don't try to convert me. But you can introduce me to the concept, right? And let the Holy Spirit take the rest, right? So it's your job to go, you can ask a few leading questions to kind of find out more, and then let that person come to their own conclusion about it, and let the Holy Spirit take over. And then I did my job. That's it. Right? Amen.
Yeah. Before I segue to the follow-up question, about a year ago, I was in a Bible study at my church, and then Ken asked, okay, we need some ushers in this church who would like to volunteer to usher. When he asked that question, I didn't want to raise my hand. Okay. It felt uncomfortable. And then, but that
Well, there'd be no usher.
when I said that, usually whenever you have that pointed aversion of being more in tune with the Bible, and I need to be more in tune now, I realized, that is Sadie talking me out of it. So I should do it. It's uncomfortable, but I should do it. So I didn't really in my head I'll do it, Lord. And I know what's I said in Psalms, if you're a man and guy and you know what you do and you don't do it, then the punishment is that much more severe. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So initially it was just, okay, Nate, come this Sunday at 10, and then I wanted you once a month. And all of a sudden I got hit with Ken, Nate, you're going to be the lead usher now. And once again, our parents know hope. And the reason why, he saw something in me you could be a lead usher, so you'll be responsible for all the other ushers. And the reason is he was moving back to Mississippi because God called him and moved back. And I'm like, well, wait, I know you got a sense of humor, but why? So now that's how I contribute with the community. And now my kids look up to that, so I give them something to look up to. Like, he's got an usher. So when they see me greeting you and ushers, they carry that. It's more responsibility, you think, because you're the first being that people see how they do.
Oh, what a great responsibility.
I heard that the guys that you talked to at the basketball for, I don't believe in God. Now, let's say you did invite them to church, and I happen to be the usher, and I carry this sour, bitter attitude because my fantasy. Now that stops her from possibly converting. So yeah. So I want to segue into the next question, dealing with social media, and we all consume it. Some of us create on it. Social media is like a bottomless cup of perfectly filtered or maybe not perfectly filtered highlight reels. You can agree, there's even a video that I want to go into in the next episode that talks about a girl getting mad because her man paid for a flower subscription, but he forgot about it. So she's mad because, since he forgot about it, he don't love me and stuff like that. So how do you guys navigate the deluge of unrealistic expectations, and how do you filter out the noise and stay true to your own brewer? So spill the beans, keep it real, keep them black and hot, just like the coffee.
Yeah, I think the first thing, especially when you talk about unfiltered, you need to know what those expectations are.
Yeah.
Now, I've been in a relationship longer, I think, than anybody in this room with my wife. I think we're going on, 27 years now, been married. So we've had a lot of transition. We've had a lot of growth ever since we hooked up when we were in my early 20s. But I know what her expectations are. We talk about it. While we were here, I was heading over here. My phone will not be alarm. Then every Saturday at 8:45 on my phone, I have an alarm called Relationship Check. That's when I call my wife, no matter where I am. I didn't do it because she's at church right now, and I'm here to check our relationship to see what's going well, what's not going, so we can talk about those things. Not with the TV, not with people there, not their circumstance. Time for us to sit down, look at each other, and say, hey, this is how the relationship is. This is what's going on. This is what I don't like. This is what I noticed, and what you can improve upon. We have that kind of communication. We didn't have that before, but we saw it was needed because we both started to assume things. So now we don't have to take that into account. We sit and talk maybe about 30 minutes And 90% of the time, my wife and I get along perfectly, but we have our moments, especially when I have my moments. So now I understand what it is she wants, what she requires, and how she's changed. Because what she requires now compared to what she required 10 years ago are two completely different things. Because she's changed and grown. So what was working sometimes back then doesn't work now. Now, some things, of course, have stayed the same. But this is our chance for us to communicate, talk about what's necessary, what's not necessary, what I'm lacking in, what I'm improving in, and, for us to keep our continued relationship growing and not to be stagnant in a relationship. Because, again, even who I am now is not to be who I am next year. And so certain things may change. So I think communication is absolutely the key. And say for something I don't know, my wife is very clear with me to let me know what her expectations are.
I mean, if I understood the question, when you brought in social media into the mix, how it's a highlight reel.
Yeah.
I think it's propaganda. It's everyone's best foot forward, their best meal, vacation, all that stuff. I'm not a real big fan of social media anymore and how it plays a part in relationships, because we see everyone living their best life and maybe you're at a desk all week.
Yeah.
So that could wear on you after a while on their highlight reels and what you filter in, all the content you're digesting. That's needless entertainment. It's more of a distraction at this point to me than anything else. So we've talked about that in our dynamics of our relationship, like unplugging for weeks, months at a time. Don't post right away. It's not, I'm driving that. That's just for me. I'll take pictures and go somewhere, but you won't see it for months.
Yeah.
I don't need to be on there every day sharing my life transparently anymore. It was fun for a minute, but some things you grow out of. And it's not that I'm better than anything or anyone. I just don't need it for that anymore. Because people have a perception that things are always good because of what you post.
They always look good.
Yeah, they think because you posted a vacation, they don't know when you came back, your car broke down. We don't share that. We don't share that. I need a new battery or my AC went out on my car. We share, we're on the beach, we're on an island, everything's great. And it's just fool's gold to me. And it causes you not checking on people because you just saw them on a cruise ship, so you think everything is good. But they don't know you got an argument when you got back from the cruise ship. You know what I mean? On the cruise ship. So it's fool's gold to me. It's not really realistic. To the point where even my own mother, who I loved and adored, and glad she's still with me, the queen, she will say, "Oh, I saw you guys were here." I'm like, "Mom, that was months ago." She's like, "Oh, I saw you guys okay. I saw you right there." It's like, no, that was last year. Like, we're getting our updates on family through a tool instead of just picking up the phone and talking about our lives. So I look at social media and being actually antisocial.
Well, said that's interesting how you said that.
There is now even pick up the phone or it's has to be, oh yeah, just check it in.
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. You hear the tone, you get when you see someone, you get the body language, you get the things that aren't replaceable. But we replaced it with images and photos and reels. And so when it comes to the relationship and our household, both of us could be on the couch on our phones. And so even though we're close and proximities right here, doesn't mean we're engaged.
Or connected.
And connected or talking about anything that Orlando's doing weekly with his wife and making sure the pulse of the relationship is moving forward. So it's a distraction now, in my opinion. And so unless you're using it to monetize and make money, even that could be a distraction to a certain extent. But I don't really care for social media, even though I'm on it. And we're going to put this on social media, right? So people can see and digest this content, but it could be a distraction if we don't use it carefully. And so that's how I feel about all that.
Can you ask the question again? 'Cause I'm not sure I understood the way you phrased it. It had too much going on. Yeah.
Yeah, with social media being all this highlight reels of, let's say, what someone defines what being a man is, man or woman, or whatever the case it is. How do you filter out a lot of that bull jive, or actually that's real?
Oh, okay.
Each set of grounds.
Well, for me, I work in social media, right? More so on the marketing side and advertising side. But I have to consume social media, because it's just what I do for work. So I have a strong desire to pop up
from social media because I consume it. I know everything that's going on, and it's become such a part of just the society. Yeah, it's a pillar, and it's one of those things that are stopping in both ways. You have to kind of just roll with it. But to Sam's point, it's social media, but it's anti-social with, and it's just one of those things. I have mixed feelings about it because I do it for work and I need it, but I want to take a break from it, whenever I can, because it's just it's a lot is unrealistic too, because people always put their best foot forward. They never talk about the negative aspects of their life, and not that it should be like a negative festival of that, because sometimes when people do put the real stuff out, they get judged for it. It does. It's tough. There's no right answer to that. But for me, how I navigate it, I consume it. I think it's funny. I like watching funny stuff for my own entertainment. I send Sam like 25 stupid memes per day.
Usually called really good.
And they be around, and I call it a day. I just do it I use it for entertainment purposes.
That arm is singing, nobody just picked up.
It's way. Changed my life this week. I can't get that out of my head. Man, I really know how to use it. Like me, go to the top. That's what I heard last night, Larry. Thank you for that gift that keeps on giving.
But it's fine. It could be funny, and there's a lot of really fantastic things going on in social media. So I am all for it, but at the same time, I think we need to take breaks.
Has it ever impacted your relationship?
No.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That'd be.
Okay. But I too,
Because of this shit with social media, boy.
it hasn't. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'll tell you how it impacts relationships in general, though, because there are a lot of unrealistic, they call them couple goals, right? And on one hand, it's great to see couples having fun and loving on each other and having a good time. And that is something to aspire, right, to have. So, I want to do something fun like that with my girl. I want to take my man to this place and have that experience. So there are some positive aspects to that. But the thing is, no one knows they don't explain how that couple got to that point.
Right, yeah.
And so it's, how do you get there? First of all, how do you get into a relationship? How do you get to a good, healthy relationship? How do you maintain that relationship? How do you deal with the adversities that come with that? And it's a challenge. It's never a walk in the park. So how do you do that? And we never talk about those things. I would say him. I'm sure there's some.
We do, but we're judged for it.
Yeah, but then we're judged for what we do, right? Because it's all you just want attention. You're crying for no reason. Go shut up.
That's when they'll say that, because we used to get joked about that my wife and I are like the Huxtables. And when you watch the Cosby Show growing up, they never fought. Everything was a great day or challenges with the kids, but they never really showed that drama. That they come with that heat on that show. Everything was on the up and up. They were both professionals. It was great imagery for what we needed at that time. And it took the mask off that families go through, where someone might get a terminal illness or a car accident, and they might be in a hospital for months. We don't think it's real, but no, that real life didn't happen there at a show or most sitcoms. So we laugh at that because it's what we put out on social media, that they think we're the Huxtables. But they don't know. In our marriage ministry counseling, we go through stuff. They don't see us with the mask off, and when my wife don't like me. She loves me, but she may not like me with that reason. So they don't see that. So that's why I think, which is really, it's fool's gold. It's not real headline news.
And so I'll put a cap on that by saying this. That's why God used the key. A staple in manipulation. Not a staple, the staple. He is the glue that keeps stable.
Because at least I can attest for my marriage. When either of us are slipping up, I can't, and I'll say, I slope up. I can't turn around and point the finger at you because I have to look at Christ first. Because I have to look at him to see, he's my sinner. So before I can look, I have to look around him You're like, man, all right, so then it makes me look at me or my mistakes for work. And that was all almost back to the first initial question was about being a man. Because you got to take a responsibility. It's like, I attributed to this aspect. And we're always so quick that I've been quick.
Just breathe.
No, this is about me and my boys. I love my young boys through and through. But we're in the season of, I'm trying to teach them about it. And I don't mean in an ill way, but it's just how I have to look at it from a in God biblical standpoint. Don't be an Eve. Don't turn around and be the snake said, and then Adam said, Eve said, I was like, take responsibility. You know, when Adam said, that's on me, God, we'd still be in Eve.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No, dude, it's like the moment you came over here is that I'm not going to call like it had nothing to do with the snake or Eve. If Adam took responsibility, if we take responsibility for our percentage of our issue,
That the snake approached Eve for a reason. Is that he knew she was the one rebellious. It her for a reason.
Very top baby, buddy. And this is something. And God, but see, the creature, it's I call it how I used to know by boys is stop, and I'm calling it. I'm like stop being an E and passing blame. Take ownership. If Adam took ownership and said, God said, Adam, who told you? He's like, that's on me, dog. I messed up. I shouldn't have eaten it. I knew better. You told me I had everything. I could have my Maseratis, my Lambo, but nah, I was the Rolls Royce. So I took the keys to the Rolls Royce and I drove the Rolls Royce.
You pulled the Ferris Bueller. Exactly.
Take ownership of it. And this is just going back to what I'm trying to teach my boys. Stop passing blame. Take ownership. If you have a percentage of responsibility, own that and stop it there and own it all.
And he's right because God didn't come say, Eve, where are you?
Right.
He said, Adam, where are you? You're naked. Oh, dog. How you know you're naked? What you doing?
Because her eyes were open.
Because their eyes were open. Right. So by then,
then it was then vice.
So that's when he turned and cast, and I was like, and that's the one thing as men as a whole, and I'm seeing it in so many elements of it. It's easier to shift the blame, so we don't have to take all the blunt or all the damage or all because it hurts. It's a heavy cross to bear.
Yes, I was understood then. I thought if you were saying Adam should have took responsibility for what Eve did.
No. Okay. Okay, yes, that's what I'm saying. But me and my wife, even though I know she's in the wrong. But I was the one who poured fuel on it and struck the map. Like I have to account for that.
Okay, fair enough.
And for those reasons, that's why I have to say, okay, I have to look at me first, because I have to look at Christ, which is my center point. Then it makes me look at me, and I have to look at him from my aspects first.
All right, can I just clarification on one thing? A couple of you brought it up. I want to make sure I understood this. I heard a couple of you say, well, when you put certain things, when Nate spoke about social media, a couple of you said, well, when you keep it real on social media, you get judged.
yes.
What did y'all think was going to happen when you put certain things on social media? We all knew what's going to happen. You're going to be judged. I mean, so it sounded like you guys were surprised. I get the real on social media and then I being judged. What do you think is going to happen?
No, it's not that I'm surprised. Okay, knew that it was going to happen. I'm just.
Well, I put it on there if you know it's going to happen.
Well, I'm not saying for me. I'm saying what is out there.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not that I thought that wasn't going to happen or didn't expect it. It's just that's the reality of how people react.
Yeah.
Because if I put on social media that I'm on vacation, I'm having a good time, I'm doing my thing, I'm living it up, I'm making all the money, whatever Tootsie Roll. When you're the Tootsie Rolls, doing sharp block. Exactly.
Solve it.
This nigga said Shannon Sharp. But if I put that on social, I'm celebrated, right? But then if I put on social that, my relationship ain't working, mom, I'm going through this right now, even if it's a genuine moment for me and I just want to use social media as an outlet, some people will go, man, how brave was Larry?
Yeah.
You agree, right? You'll have a lot of people. Some people will go, well, oh man, I feel so bad for that, right? I can identify with that, right? That's crazy. But the rest of the people are going to go, you're just doing that shit for attention. Why are you putting that stuff out there? Stop crying. You know, be a man. Go out and do this. Shut up. You know, and they're going to start judging me for being vulnerable. So it's a lose-lose. If I put out all the good stuff, people go, well, of course you put out the good stuff. Yeah. Nobody cares. If you put out the bad stuff, they go, you're doing this for attention. Why?
Yeah, why are you doing it on this platform? Because majority of your social media followers are not your real core friends. Those are people you're not sharing your good days or your bad days, but so why are you putting it on that platform? They're not even the ones you really call when you really need help. So that's definitely a perception of it.
And some people do it for attention. There are some that do that, but then there are some genuine people who are genuinely reaching out. They don't have anybody to help. Yeah, that's a problem. But we still, I've done it myself. I can admit, I've seen stuff on social where I'm like, look at this fool. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. What's there? I have zero idea what they're actually going through. Like behind, they're crying and stuff on the camera, but even behind, when their camera shuts off, I have no idea what's going on. And yet I'm still judging that person. And I consider myself to be a good dude. I'm a good person. I'm still judging. So I took it out of this question.
Y'all judging them.
We gonna fight after podcast. So who wants to look? Play what you did, Larry. It's a great dude.
I don't agree to the good. He's a great dude. See, you don't even know what's coming.
Even when good people, you consider yourself to be a good person, we still judge other people. So people who are, worse than you all and deserve, people who are not you still judge. So that's just what that means. Okay, fair enough. Okay, I get it.
Well, speaking of judging, we're not going to judge on this, but I just want to react on this unpopular post, unpopular opinion. And it kind of deals with adulting, navigating adulthood, and dating. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? The real reason so many people today find dating hard is because they're taught they don't need to compromise. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we all look at you right here.
I tell you, compromise is a part of a relationship, but you have to define what compromise is. So you don't want to be caught in a compromising position, as they say. You don't want to be, you don't want to compromise your integrity. You don't want to compromise your morals, but you do want to be able to compromise certain things within your relationship because you're not going to always get your way. The person's not going to always get their way. So you have to be able to bend without ground. As so long as you aren't compromising things that are most important to you. Like you can't compromise your relationship with guys. You can't compromise your morals. You can't compromise it to you strongly believe in because that goes against the core of who you are. Yeah. And that's no way out. Everything else to me is up for grabs. You got to be able to compromise. So, and what that might look like is, okay, I'm not moved to go to this stupid concert because I don't like this person's music. But my wife wants to. So I'm going to go. But when you go, you can't be there acting like you don't want to be there. Because that's what will make the situation worse. Yeah. So you go inside, you go, I don't know what is out there. But you go, yeah, baby, let's go. And then you go, and then you hate the other person's music, but you dance for them. You find something like about it. And then when she goes, I thought she didn't like, Britney Spears, I don't know if she's still doing concerts, whatever. I don't, but you know what? I like this one song. Right? You're compromising so that your wife or your girlfriend can have a good time, even though you're not really feeling it. And she's going to do the same thing for you because she don't give two squirts of pee about fantasy football or NFL in general, right? But she's going to put on a Patriots jersey because I like Patriots and I like the Niners too. You can't like both. You can't like both. You can laugh. You can't. You got to see both. You down. I'm going for the Patriots. But see, that's not really. You're a Patriots fan too.
It's done. We are doing that. You either bang bang or you don't.
That's it. Well, they say that we can compromise all this. I'm in a relationship with you, Larry. Oh my God, I'm great. I think that's a great example, especially what Larry said about football. Because when my wife and I, we hooked up, she knew nothing about football. Wasn't that said football? She learned the game specifically for me. She said, I knew you like it. I know you're about the 49ers. I'm going to learn the game, so I will quiz her during the game. I said, it's second and goal. What does that mean? And she would get it wrong, but then she started getting it right, know what it meant, how many yards they had to go. Then she really actually learned the game. And then to the point when we watch ESPN, sometimes we watch First Take ESPN, she knows exactly what's going on. And she'll stop, come out the kitchen, and actually come to the TV to see what they're talking about in certain things.
So that's the beautiful thing about compromise. There's certain things I don't necessarily get down with that she likes, and I will do it. But I do it because of my love for her.
I have to, this is going to sound cheesy as hell.
Okay.
Just how you describe that moment with Michelle. Something about that. We as men, especially when we're able to find the women that enjoy and mellow it out, when they take this one moment and they stop what they're doing to appreciate what you do or what I've seen it and hear that. It's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It's like, wait. You admire them for my watching you more than what's on the TV. And I've just to see that. I surely that once, I know it's like so geeked out. We were watching Star Wars. It was me and my young bloods. And she came out and was like, he can't use the force like that. I said, woo! My life getting to be the most beautiful one in earth. I didn't care what was on the screen. She said she understood the force and how it manipulated the space, and he can't. I was like, oh my gosh, she is just what beautiful. I was like, it but me take interest in our spousal thing.
Right.
The whole relationship levels up, and it's like they adore us. They turn into the most beautiful. We will break the world for them. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that brings me to a question off of that question. Is that a compromise? That she took interest in what you like?
Or was it forged? Absolutely.
Use it, George.
Well, compromise is something you don't want to do.
Right.
But she wouldn't like wanted to do it unless it was for work.
But she liked it. She took interest. I think that's a little different.
And taking interest in compromise.
I think it's not the compass.
So she acted and liked it. And so her attitude changed.
She was so like
This.
so.
I could have started with a compromise side because she didn't know what she understood, what she got into it. They
Kind of like United because I didn't know that it started because she compromised to start seeing movies with me. She went and it was like, oh, okay, she was exactly like, I don't know, man, I don't care about say you're to this. Like, but no, she was like, oh, Leia's the daughter. Oh, there's a family story, but like then she values her simply again. She already started with the complex. She can be immersed to compromise. It's like to hear your story about Michelle. I can see Michelle coming up like. Wait, don't tell that. No. And I can just see it in your eyes. You feel like, oh, who this woman? Where's she come? Like they immediately turn into a whole new being for us when they start. It worked too.
Right. So I think this is interesting because I don't know if compromise really works.
What do you mean?
Well, because you. What do you mean? Think about it. If you're forced to not forced.
Could you be advertising to?
Saturday, if you don't want to compromise our position, our faith, our core values, we don't have our character. We don't want to compromise that, but then everything else, like as Larry said, is on the table.
Okay.
Why?
Because in the end, it doesn't matter one way or another. So you do it for her or you do it for him.
But is that really sincere?
Sure he is. Or you gonna be here. It's just partially be here. It doesn't start sincere because it's not what you want to do. But again, it's the compromise.
So how kind of mom is about to do it then if she really don't want to do it?
So, I'm just raising a question in the question because
I think that's fair.
to really unpack this thing.
You said something that really stroked your ego. She started talking in that Jedi Knight language.
Right.
She was like, she can't use a force like that. Who does she think she is?
Right.
And you saw her, not the movie anymore.
Right.
Because she took an interest. She genuinely was there. I think when we compromise, it's just pacifying.
It is. You're not massifying that, but massifying.
Yeah. Because again, you can't say the compromise state is where I'm going with this. If you don't really care and you really don't want to do it, to your point, why do it?
All right, but that's about that. That's where the sound compromise comes in. I got some for you. Okay, but
Let me give you another example. My wife can't stand Game of Thrones. And all the episodes and all the seasons, she ain't going there.
Once you get attacked, someone dies.
She don't care about snow, the dragon, the White Walkers, the winter's coming. She don't care.
I got stuff.
So in that, we had a little conversation about her taking interest in things that maybe she's not interested in. And I flipped it on her like, Neray used to watch that shows, and I actually started to enjoy it. So if I did enjoy it, I'm not going to keep going because that's just not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? So we got to be careful with compromise, as that's showing love and affection. Right. Because you're not generally there. Why? I'm not going to, in love back to you, I'm not going to make you go if you really don't care about the football game.
No, but then here's an example. I'm not going to do that. So using that example with Game of Thrones and your wife, right? So the compromise would be Game of Thrones comes on at 8 o'clock, the same time her show, sure, come on. And there's only one TV, right? Which is not true. I bought the TV, but
yeah.
For the sake of the example. So then it's like, okay, this week I'll watch Game of Thrones. And then you DVR your show. Next week, you watch your show and I'll DVR Game of Thrones. That way, it's a compromise. That's a better example of a compromise rather than taking interest in it. Y'all both. I want to hear what you
I'm about to hit y'all. You can compromise, and I compromise. I was doing it for years out of love for Michelle. Out of love for me. I did it for years. Just keep it real. Forgive me. But I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to be transparent in this. It was just, I feel the same way back then. I still feel the same right now. Okay? Yeah, here we go. I, gentlemen, do not like my in-laws on any level. But they are
divulging is spontaneous.
Keep it real. We're going to keep it real. We're even transparent. They're Michelle's parents. I have no interest in going to see them. I have no interest in going to hang out with them. I have no interest in being there for Christmas or Thanksgiving at their house. But I go and I do it because they are my wife's parents. I go there out of respect and love for her. I stay in my own lane. I sit on the couch and I'm just counting down the minutes until we leave. And that's where it is. And that's where it's always been. Never.
And then he's good.
Yes, they could. But as schooling as people, how they treat our relationship, I have real resentment toward them. Michelle has some of the same resentment, but because they're her parents, she thinks it's her obligation and what have you. And so I respect that. Even though I don't look forward to it, I do it because I love her. If she would ever say, well, I don't go down there anymore, hang out with them around, I'm totally good with it. But even though, and she knows, we talk about it all the time. My wife is very, but see, I don't make it all about me. I made it about her. And this is one of the things in marriage, relationships, where you have to have a compromise. Also, my daughter, Sydney, who we're struggling with right now, she needs to see her grandparents. So we would take her down there to see her grandparents. Just because I don't like them and I'm not feeling up, I'm not going to deprive them or my grandchild of their, seeing their grandchild or seeing their daughter. That would be totally selfish to me. So I take it, I bite the bullet, do what I need to do out of sacrifice, whatever you want to call it, out of being benevolent to her, and then I suffer through it for 2 days or 3 days. So then I come back.
He's just all out. You just thank you. You got to like fairy daddy. Your Jeep. Unfortunately, it's helpful. Keep going from Bell's QB. You would not use that dick.
Run off. That's why I really don't want to be there. You're fool wants to be around people they don't like. See?
You say as you pick up on it, and I'm gonna sit my coffee down. No further questions, Your Honor. The defense rests his case.
You know what? Because even though I suffer through it, it's not about me. It is about her.
And I respect that.
See, actually, you're agreeing with everything we did.
But that's my point about compromise. You're suffering through something and you shouldn't have to suffer in.
But it's worth it in the end because it's making her happy.
No, but it's not because she knows you're suffering through.
No, she's totally good. She knows.
Just say, oh, do you see them? She suffered that number one.
Holidays. Oh, yeah, so once a year, holiday. Twice a year.
Okay, I see it.
That's my point.
Yeah.
If you got to a point where you start off with compromise, right? You were talking about, right? You can't say that. So you can't say that. You gotta evolve from compromising to where either you take interest or you don't. I have no interest. I know you don't.
Wait, that's the point I'm making. Because I see what you're saying. Because you have to live, you can't be stagnant.
You can't stay. You said your relationship, you invest in and you take interest in your wife, and you continue to grow with your wife and have weekly check-ins. That's where anything we compromise at. We got to evolve out of that thing because it's a suffering that is not necessary. It's really a starting point.
I will make that sacrifice for her though. And afterwards, my wife, this is what she'll say to me, Orlando, I know you don't like going down there. I know, but I'm just so happy. Thank you for doing that for me.
Of course, because they like as a man, I'm glad to do it for her. Yeah, and I'm glad that you're glad that you do it for her. But if you did it for yourself, you would. No, wait for it. If you actually try to evolve out of compromising and get to a better place with your in-laws, like you do with your wife, like you do with your job, like you do with your daughter, like you do with us, like you do with your church, like you do with community, like you like, you would get to a place where you're growing in that compromise to where you two can find a more loving environment. Okay, that's all I'm saying, because at the end of the day, you're doing it twice a year. She's seeing her mother and father only twice a year. That is a compromise that to me is really detrimental because we only have how many summers left in this life.
Right, agree.
And so in her knowing you're uncomfortable, she's doing this for you that she doesn't see her parents more often. I'm gonna just leave it there because that's just an example of how we compromise that. It sounds good, but it really isn't.
And on the same account, just like I have no interest in them, keep it at 100, they have no interest in me either. So that's where it can never just be a happy online trust like that. But it's just not there. It's just, I'm like, person don't say it like this, yeah. Christ suffered for us. Yeah. So sometimes we can suffer for other people. Yeah, absolutely. And as I say, you have to stay there because Christ didn't stay on the cross. He got down from it. So he's trying to say, and we have to see it. But sometimes a little suffering is necessary. That's okay. And then in Christ talks about having a relationship with him. I don't know the details of the situation, so I'm going to say this and not comment further because I like the details. But if there is any way possible that there could be some type of compromise with you and your in-laws, then take that. If there's no chance at all, whatever, from them or from you, then, a lot of prayer needs to be had. I'm going to just leave it there because I don't want to detail.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things we don't.
But compromise is necessary in any relationship because Christ compromised for us. You think it felt good to be stabbed because of a friend view or to especially lash with Tyne Taylor? That could have been the whole other side of our experience.
That's a sacrifice different than a compromise.
Okay, sure. Yes.
That's why we'll be very careful how we use compromise to justify a very position. Right? Unless they're only right to bring to the table. You're right. Is interest and compromise are different. And your wife compromised at the beginning. That was the starting point, but she took interest by sight of you. If she stayed in a compromised state and she just forced to watch the Star Wars movie like this, that wouldn't have got your attention. It was the fact that she spoke back life to you in that moment that got your attention. Yeah, that's all I have for y'all.
Pretty humanity.
That's right there. This topic, because I have to move on. Yeah, that is true. But that's in relationships, compromises are necessary. Absolutely. So long as you don't compromise the integrity of who you are and what you believe in, stuff like that. Like I said before. But then don't stay in that compromiser position. Find something of value that you can attach yourself to help find interest in what your partner is also interested in. That's very late.
All right, next question. Actually, to video reaction. Being an adult.
You know what the craziest, most frustrating part of becoming an adult is? That nobody ever really talks about. Nobody references this specific, very exact, unwritten rule. Some absurd law of the universe that none of us are aware of until it happens. And every time you feel a shred of financial stability, you know what I mean? Like if you get an ounce of comfort in your bank account, you feel like maybe you got your feet under, not even your feet. You feel like maybe you've got your big toe underneath you this month. You're ahead of the curve. Maybe rent won't hit you like a truck this month. Maybe, God forbid, you can put some money into savings, or dare I say it, spare a penny or two on doing something fun and enjoying your life before you, die. You know what I mean? Every time you get that feeling, without fail, car problem, right away. What is that about? Why don't we have this in textbooks? Why are we not teaching kids that if you feel good about where you're at financially, you will have a car problem? Last week,
I'll send you the link to that. It's the documents.
I'll say this, that literally just happened to me, not even a week ago, maybe about 8 days ago. You know, I got into some, there was a couple of clients that paid me, and I had bulk of money, like a few thousand. And I was like, oh, I'm winning right now. I'm good to go. And all of a sudden, my battery died in my car. So I took it to the dealership, and in my car, I have like 3 batteries in my car. The most expensive part of my battery, the most expensive battery is like $400. I was like, oh my Lord. Then my car needed new types. They were bald. It was crazy. And so I had to spend like almost $2,000 on my car in a weekend. And I was very upset about that. I'm like, yeah, I just got some more money in my pocket. And all of a sudden, car trouble. So that's actually the...
I feel like car troubles hit you like that Spikes Adams Yellow Jacket meme. But what we trying to get into now? See, it just set to a week ball.
Hey, babe, I want to know.
But like the last topic, he compromised.
Yeah. See, yeah, with compromise, my relationship with him is a whole compromise.
And then when my head is fresh this year, when he busts up a big collar.
No one else gets that.
I did. Had influence.
But back to the topic I had. That video hits me because it's funny. 2, why you gotta do so relatable. And then 3, it also kind of gives you the warning that, I mean, even in Ecclesiastes, the Bible talks about you gotta store away for rainy days. You know it though when the storm's coming. And I don't know why car problems always hit you. Like sometimes I dread taping my car to get an oil change because it's like the over situation. Like, oh, we could get it to something. Well, you know, so I took my car to get an oil change for a couple days ago. Oil change is $100 now. Like,
Yeah, man. You like Jimmy? I took mine to less.
Okay, just cool, man. And my 2 months on my phone, I just get my own chance about $60. Good to go. Y'all gotta get the coupons on Jimmy Blue, man.
you know, whenever you take your car to get a oil change, it's hands as an oil change. But only fire cars that come up when they're out of
Dick 26. Which song? Which? I put it goods up there, but I get it.
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, my car, my car's 18 years old, and even on my car, they don't tape my car.
Oh, Jimmy Blue,
No, it's an Infinity. You know, they're like, oh, there's a, well, let me rephrase that. I get TJB, but I don't get Djibouti prices. It's like, I think that's the thing. It's like oil changes, the cost of everything, but when you're talking about, you know, boom, oh, your brakes are gone. You need new brakes. But because you need new brakes, you need to turn your rotors. Oh, your rotors are too old, so you need new rotors. And you're like, I just need to throw brakes. I'm only supposed to be 250 to down them all the way up to gas size. Help this hit. And it's like, oh, and by the way, your back tire is bald, so you need to get a replacement tire. But you can't just get one because you have to have them even, so you got to get 2 replacement tires. And the next thing you know, you walk it out with a $2,500 price tag at Chippy Lube.
But I feel sick. I feel safe on the road.
It's all better than a strand. And the worst part about this, if we don't do it, we can't get to jobs. If we can't get to jobs, we can't work after the family. If we can't be by the family, then we got social society. We ain't a man.
I'm gonna tell you what I was.
It's $1.
It's the registration fees every month.
Oh,
in California.
Oh, and
I'm registered. Sorry, I just faithful. Why did I pay to register my car?
It's just every month at first.
Happy troppo. You got to every month. James don't your eyes on the big horn. All your anxiety. What's this? Gone in 60 seconds. What are you doing, Nicholas Cage?
Brothers Hallenor on this Sunday morning instead of going to church. What do we do? There you go. Start on to pay, brother.
What happened when you get a Lexus?
I registered for $1. Husband in California, $400 a year. For what? For what reason? It's already registered.
a bad.
Hey, don't look.
Actually, this is the clear definition of not compromise.
I know what a car, but you got to. I hate.
No, we ain't talking about that.
Yeah, boy, you're real bad. I'll talk about.
I spot Mr. Girl on me. But no, I took my car for an oil change. I'm like, okay, please don't let them be wrong. No, they're like, hey, you know, in a month, you should to done. You can park now, but in a month you should get it. I'm like, class, this job. I need.
But what do you think happens when your car's gone 6, 7, 8, 9 months of neglect? You've done nothing. So it builds up. It's a mess of with music. Like, my car's gone for months. I haven't done a doggone thing. So I'm gonna get hit. When I finally bring it in, and I've got a dragnet. When I bring it in, I said they about to read me, and I know it. And that's why I'm expecting cars. And it's touching. Back in the day, I'm not doing it now, but back in the day, brothers, you know what I'm talking about. Paycheck to paycheck. So you didn't have that extra money, even when the biblical principle that they brought up about God sifted. Yeah, there were nothing to spread to the side. There were nothing. A couple of times you yelling, I didn't know where this meal was coming from, let alone get tires or brakes or oil changes.
This is more of a just life.
Yeah.
In every aspect, because it's one thing to say, you know, you're living paycheck to paycheck, or even if you were able to stash. And let's be real. If we're able to set aside $200 a month for savings, we're feeling good.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, you know, geez, okay, how to go? You look up 3 months, you're like, oh, geez, great. I'm gonna save about $600-800 at savings. But that's gone in a blink. If you have to replace tires, that's gone in a blink. Brakes. And I think the thing about it is, it's the annual expenses that we forget about. Okay, I know I got my oil change. Okay, that's quarterly. Okay, I know I got gas, insurance, all that. But when we get that annual registration, and then you get the annual expense, it's like those are the ones that's like crap. That's what sets us back, because those are the $2,000 annual expenses.
See, that's why it's important to do two things. One, invest, right? And
Invest in what?
well,
In that,
when I say invest, I mean like on stock market. Heavy.
Kind of turn how you do when you paycheck to paycheck.
It is, but you got to find a way, whether getting an extra job or you can't move because you are responsible for yourself. Just don't go up to the family and make your responsibility, right? You got to find a way. You can't just blame the system all the time or blame other people. You got to take responsibility and do what you got to do.
And this is all kind of revolving around the car thing, your savings and aspects of this. But, and I say this in a joking manner because not too long ago, you made a joke like, oh man, I put $100 on down on that game. Well, that means you came up with $100 somewhere to have fun. Okay, so is it that $100 that you didn't put on the game that now can be invested or can be put into a stock or could be compounded on
Getting stocks. I don't know what to call.
No.
Smile thing.
Here's the thing. Well, not even, but this is the thing. Not even just in that, but it's like you're putting it in a savings account. So when the problem you have $100 more. Or raise you might not be. I think that's the thing.
For a high yield savings again.
We need to position ourselves to weather when the car happens. Because I'm being real. I kid you not. It is what it is. I said that I was driving an Infinity. Was thinking, oh, it's an Infinity. Yay. It was a 2006 Infinity. Back window did not roll down. Okay. Type car. But we loved it till the wheels fell off. It literally fell off. We transitioned into a 2004. We were 2 years older. And we had it for a week. I felt like a king. I was driving AC. Every window rolled down. Every child was seatbelt. My wife had a grin on her face in 120-degree weather in the desert. A week of having it, the AC went in. Right after having it for 1 week.
Oh, the Force can't do that.
Oh, the dark side is strong, and don't think the dark side will not come. And even in those moments, I had to be like, crap, we just got this. We just dropped capital to make this opportunity happen. And now I have to turn around and drop more into this to just sustain getting to work, handling my business, allowing me not to sweat bullets through my shirts so I don't have pit stains when I go to my meetings. Because I have a working AC now. Like, this is just life. This is what happens. You have to position yourself to weather that. It's going to cost me about probably $1,500, $2,000 to fix, and I gotta weather it. But that's the process.
That's why you wait on the Lord, right? So the more you have faith in God, the more He will continue to bless you. So if you can afford that $100 on whatever you spent it on, if you can somehow come up that $1,500 or whatever, that means you're blessed, right? That means you're blessed. So count your blessings, but you got to be responsible. You got to take responsibility for your own life. You can't blame other people. You can't be blaming corporations. You can't blame society. We all do, because even, you know what? Because even if something is someone else's fault, and oftentimes it is, it's still your responsibility because it's your life. Exactly. So you got to take that on the chin and go, sure, this does not feel good. I hate this. But you know what? What can I do about it? Other people ain't going to come to rescue you all the time.
And even if you're broke as can be, most of y'all out there listening to this podcast, you're broke, but you got that iPhone. You got that iPhone. You got that iPhone. Now, where'd the iPhone come from if that broke?
Interest-free payment plan.
You gonna put the money where it's due.
Boss Harrison sponsor.
Know what's happening if y'all want to sponsor.
I joke about that unexpected car repair, but a couple months ago when I was unemployed, and then I was talking to you guys about my previous company wanted me back as a technician and sales rep, and I'm like, I left jobs twice, so I ain't trying to go back there every time. So something funny happened, godly thing happened. There was an account that I used to book, Paul Davis. It's a restoration company. Whenever homes get flooded, if you buy homeowners insurance, they call them, get my furniture out, store it, move it. Whenever they don't have muscle, they call the moving company I used to work at. And I would book those jobs. It was always easy money. They pay on time. They pay great because they don't pay for it. The insurance company pays for it. So I got a call from my old contact there shortly after leaving the casino, been laid off. And she asked, you still with the company? I went, I'm not with that company. Well, I kind of like working with you. Maybe we can do something. I prayed on it, called them, welcome you back. Yeah, you didn't have to come in. We'll give you all your logins back. You know what to do. Book the job, $90 commission for 20 minutes of work. So, picked up the check, yes. Winning. All pays for that. After I put down $100 in the this gate right. Go to that tip, but I want to go to the next question with kind of savings or secret accounts. I want to brew a fresh pot of ethical dilemma.
Here we go.
Yeah. So we all know trust is the lifeblood of any enthusiasm. But when it comes to finances, are there ever grounds for having a secret bank account? Could secretly squirrel away beans for a rainy day ever be justified? Or is any financial deceit a surefire way to leave your relationship as burnt as an over-roasted pot of coffee? How about your masculinity when I ask that question at the casino? You see?
I started out on this. I don't learn starting on this one. And let me tell you, I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. If my wife has a secret account and I find out about it, we got a major problem. The foundation of our relationship is trust. And if I can't trust her, she got a secret account, we got a big issue. We got a major issue. And I'm not sure how we gonna work through it. We can pray about it, we can do what have you, but again, if she be deceptive about anything like that, and our finances are totally commingled, we got problems. And I don't know what other people think about it, what their attitude is or anything like that. But again, some of you got no big deal. She's scrolling away for this, scrolling. There's no excuses. Our monies are commingled. We're in a partnership. Any secrets, we got a major issue. And I'm not going to fold, Larry spoke a little bit about our previous subject matter, not folding in on your beliefs. You're compromising on this or that. There's no compromise on that one. We have secrets. We're not going to compromise on that. We're going to have a major issue, and it's going to be dealt with swiftly. That's why I stand.
Sam, I know you got something to add to it. Or does anyone else want to add to that?
He said it. It's his house.
What about your house?
He said it's his watch. That's his standard. That's his core values. That's how he wants to lead. I have no issue with that. For me, I care not. Because at the end of the day, our assets are commingled as well. She's a beneficiary of all my assets. If I die, she's my beneficiary of all my policies. She will get the windfall if I'm not here and I'm called home to glory. The issue is, what is the intention behind the secret account? I think we get caught up in so much of leading and need to be in control of everything that we miss what is she trying to do with the secret account. It could be we've mismanaged money and she's saving up to make sure our retirement's in place because we just overspend all the dang time. We hit Zono check, the balance and balance to check. Maybe she's doing that because she knows how we are. Maybe she knows how you are. If she had a secret account. So at the end of the day, it's what's the intent behind the secret account. So once upon a time, we were told we were going to go do something for a friend of mine. And we were going to go to Temecula and surprise her husband with a day in Temecula where she rented the Sprinter van and had, decorated it out. And she was like, don't say anything. We're going to surprise my husband with this day trip to Temecula. That woman was his wife.
That was big. So serious.
So if your assets are commingled, she can't bless her husband with a surprising experience. So the irony, and you're going to have a problem, is that it's for you. You might be blocking the blessing potential that we have to know everything all the day.
Oh, wait, he said he had something for me, too. He said...
So I think our needs to be controlled, and I respect that. We want to know what's happening. Right. But if there's no foul malintent, if there's no divisive plot, if she's doing this out of love to just be a blessing, right, then it's not really a secret because that's going to be revealed later why she took assets and moved it and had it here. And she may need a little allowance to do what she needs to do for herself. But I mean, I really don't care. And my wife, I know she has credit cards that my name ain't on it. That's fine. I don't need the control because I know what we do on a day-to-day, week-to-week, year-to-year as we push forward in our relationship. So I don't think the secret's necessarily an issue. It's how you use this tool. Right. That should be really the undercurrent or really the issue.
So, Mary does so.
And that's that. And he had amazing time. To make a break. And it was all when we pulled out and shrimp and with the stores and so, listen, I need to know now, right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, there I am. You know what? Let me qualify this. Let me qualify this. Let me know what everybody has to say about it. Wait, hold on. Let me qualify it. Let me qualify it. Now, with that, he's got a ballot vote. So it's a couple of things I left out. I did touch on before. Michelle and I will have conversations. We did it last night. I had a conversation last night. She will tell me, and this is what happened. Here's the other part. Honey, I'm putting some money away to do something for us. So I just want to let you know this is what we're doing. Yesterday, I was on eBay. I'm already shopping for her some Christmas presents. I found some beautiful bad Timberland boots, and I know she's going to dig this Timberland. She is not. She is a big boots. You are not the same boots.
You are going to watch Game though, and see who else dies.
So I ordered the boots yesterday. I got her two American boots yesterday. And I told her, I just made some purchases. And I'm letting you know now, I'm squirreling this for away. I don't want you to look at this. And then I forgot eBay sends us the
notification.
The shipping status that I've been for, I had to delete them because she has access back now, so I deleted it. But I let her know this money, I spent it. I spent a couple $100, and I'm letting her know. So it's not a secret. She just doesn't know what it is. Right. I let her know. The thing with Temecula, she actually didn't know. I didn't know what it was. She said, I'm letting you know I'm putting some money away for a certain thing. And so that's the only thing I'm going to say to qualify that. It wasn't a secret. And so when I saw it, and I don't look at the accounts, she does all the money. I don't look at the accounts at all. If I would have saw a couple of $1,000 missing, I would have known because she told me about it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I'll speak for me and my household.
Your household.
It really starts with the communication, because before we ever got married, we had a financial conversation, and Cheryl shared specific elements of a standard of financial living that she had just to be at peace. So I went in eyes wide open. There was no need for secret accounts because everything was laid at the forefront before we ever crossed the threshold. So in those regards, there is no secret, and we had an open line of communication. And no joke, it's like we had is that open. I love my wife. We love our wives because they do stuff for us. She literally just yesterday, it's ironic. She literally said, I'm putting some on, I'm buying something, and it's for use. You cannot look at the statements for the next 45 days. I was like, okay. Oh, okay, can I let you can't know where it's at?
I got something.
And I was like, okay, but we are openly communicating on what funds, and we also have a cap. We have an open line. But like I said, all these aspects were set in advance. So there is no secret. She knows when I'm opening up accounts for passion projects that we're taking on. She knows where, it's like, you said you wanted a 401k account. Well, that's where this is financial institutions coming from. This is how much we'll go into, whatever it might be. We're in open communication. So if there is ever a hidden account, I can say I'm not going to sweat it because I know there's intent, and I know I will find out because she'll openly communicate. So if it means her dad, and I can see this, I could so see this. I love you, I do. I actually get along with my in-laws, okay? But I would not be surprised if Cheryl had an account that her dad opened in her name. And it's like, you're the secondary primary, you're the secondary. And I ended up seeing the statement, and she's like, what is it? I'm not going to sweat.
Okay.
I'm not worried by
We're having there's two things at play here with that question. One is what we're really talking about, and then there's the thing that's surface. The surface level is the account, the bank account. That's usually solvable, in my opinion. Everybody runs their household separately and differently, so that's all good. But for me, I'm not married, but when I do get married, if I get married, it's going to be multiple accounts. So there's my account, there's her account, then there's our joint account. And so we both contribute to the joint account because that joint account pays for everything that we need. Yeah. Right. My account is for me to do what I want to do. If I want to blow my money in Vegas, if I want to play fantasy football, if I want to buy a new camera for whatever I'm doing, that's on this my account. Yeah. That way I maintain my sense of individuality. Yes. Same thing for her. She went to get her hair done, her nails did, everything did. Go at it, boo. That's all you need. I don't care. You manage your own account. So long as this joint account have us X amount in it that could pay for our lifestyle, boy, we can manage both that. We both have access to that. But I can have mine. You can have yours. And then we can have ours.
Yeah. Why separation?
Well, let me add to that. My house is run the same way. We have our own individual accounts, and then we have our joint account that takes care of all the household finances.
Why individual?
Because we don't need to bleed the main thing out for our own hobbies.
All right, I'm asking just from I think I don't trust the system. I'll say that right now. I don't trust the system.
What's this? What
the financial institution. I don't trust that. Okay. So, and I ask this. You say you have your joint account, which is the collecting bills, mortgage, day-to-day, everything. And you have your individual, fantasy, football, getting nails done, this, that, the other. Mm-hmm. The secondary owner on that account was who?
On our individual account?
Yeah.
Nobody bought.
Okay. That's it. She eats his family. Yeah. No, but I just need 30.
Well, no, she's my beneficiary. So you think that I have as a person for beneficiaries when I, by law, if he would have done this try to follow the bit to get them to be that address to her. Yeah.
But she is on the account. Yeah. Okay. That's what I just wanted to clarify that. you do have a recipient. And it said it, some account of another line, but she put it to the draw on that account.
So the question is, with those accounts, if you were to find out she had on another account, well, outside of those three, what would you say? Nothing. Okay, nothing.
Maybe here's the intent. It's a multiple. Is she cycling from the main account to fill that account? My father-in-law can open an account.
But see, that's your father-in-law who did it, not your wife. There's a difference. We got no control over that.
Even if she opened up an account, if she's not taking from the main account, from our joint account to siphon and stuff that,
then where else would she get the money to put that money in their account?
from wherever she grabbed on the right.
Job, interesting. Donate, help this.
I think it depends on the intent.
See, I think this is a very different circumstance because you both are breadwinners and you are a single page. You bring home the bacon. You're the sole provider, and so are you. Not in your business with your
Quartet. Yes, where you all like both work. Yeah.
So she has every right to make sure that we feed the main thing and then do what she needs to do with her allowance or retirement, things from that. So every household is run. So
again, I mentioned there's two things. So surface level and the deeper level. So just to wrap up the surface level stuff, even if my wife were not to work for whatever reason, I was the breadwinner, I would still prefer that she have another account, even if I'm funding it. Even you can call her up and the light or whatever, some might take offense to that, but whatever you want to do. I can fund open floor account. I can fund her account because I want her to maintain a sense of individuality. I want her to not have to siphon from our main account and F over our lifestyle. And I know that she has things she needs to do for herself. She want to have a spa day. She want to take the kids out and do something. I don't know, whatever she should be able to have access to some type of plan to be able to do stuff. Yeah. And how she wants to spend it is on her. But that's surface stuff. The deeper level is intention. Is that right? Because they have to go to it.
that's how I was saying.
And the question was secret. So what's the intention? Secret behind the secret. If it's a pure intention like treating you to make it a trip with the Star Wars van, cool. But some people don't have that intention. Some people have other intentions. I'm gonna have this secret account so I can secretly fly my Goofy French over to secretly blow this back out. We're gonna secretly.
So in that sense, is the secret account even the issue?
Then it'll be a CI. Don't say you start thinking.
And this right about the bank account, the bank. This about your boys and like else back out. Represent. Oh, that's what we're talking about. The money becomes the reminder
on the bank account at that point. So it's about the intention. That's not those are kind of, we focus so much on the account part of it, which is fun to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's the intention behind the secret stuff.
I was going to touch on that because I saw this Reddit post. It's a long one, but I'll sum it up in a few sentences. A woman asked if she was an a-hole because she had a secret account. Following, she had that secret account because her mother advised her after experiencing an abusive marriage, you shouldn't have that secret account in case you divorce or have money to go back to your business. But her husband discovered the account and felt betrayed, especially when he ran into financial hardships because he was the breadwinner. And then when he lost that job and had to work 2 jobs to support their lifestyle as best they can, she didn't use that account to help him out, Will. So she intended that account as a safety net, not to hurt him, but now she questions that she was justified. So while he was pulling his own back out, trying to fund the household,
she should have helped him down the rest of the words on within Saudi.
Still his money. It's still his money. So that's what you guys got together. That's still his money. See, whether you want to or not. Like,
to remind us from episode.
But I don't know if there was so she had a secret account based off of their marriage, or she had a separate account.
Separate account. Because her mother advised her have a secret account while you're married, because her mother's relationship was abusive, and she had no line of something.
That's still half his money.
Yeah.
Yes, it is his, theirs, regardless. I think the issue is while he went and worked a essentially a 60, 80-hour work week, she could have relieved some of that workload by just even acknowledging, hey, we have some savings. We don't have to, or you don't have to, or hey, what do you want to do?
Marriage is for better or for worse.
And rightly so. And I think that's the biggest challenge is the intent behind, like what Larry was saying. It really comes down to the intensity of it. If the intent was, hey, I'm setting this aside just in case, something happens, well, something happened. We'd have to work 80 hours. Can you help us out here?
I think we're as men, we're looking at it one-sided. And this is something to be sensitive to women that have poured into marriages, into relationships, and they weren't the breadwinner, they were the homemaker, generationally speaking, that when the divorce happened, they were left with nothing. I know women right now that have gone through divorce where the man did provide six-figure salaries, and now they had to come down from a deluxe apartment in the sky to live very, helplessly. And the husbands don't want to share nothing. They don't want to split the house and all that. So I'm not mad at a woman for having a plan C in place, because a lot of these men are not leading correctly and they're not being judicious when the relationship ends to be a fair recipient. I know a friend of mine who just his daughter went through a divorce. And he counseled even the son to say, hey, let's negotiate a fair deal. And he didn't listen to him. He went with his in-laws and all the advice we get from her parents. And she got left in the cold. And when he was going to set up stuff where he could split the house, he would keep the house, all these fair deals. So men are in a leveraged position as providers in those situations. So women, to protect themselves from men as leading incorrectly or correctly, I'm not mad at that. But at the end of the day, when she took that advice from her mother, she didn't consider that, you're right, when they're going a hard time, she could have been forthcoming and said, hey, babe, we're in this together. And she could have shared those resources.
So what did the intent was?
Just to protect herself.
It's the same.
And I made it about her?
Well, yeah, right. And that is, I can say this because I'm not with that. Because
Now she made it about her?
No, I think that's the one was when that's
Because again, we're the ones that are driving the bus. And if we don't act right, she's left in the cold. These women are left with nothing, waiting on men to do the right thing in divorce. And a lot of times we don't.
And let me jump on this.
People quit their jobs so they can pay child support. What are you supposed to do then? Or can I talk?
I experienced I did have fun through divorce. The guy did quit his job, making good money to work. So paid after pay child support. Just still enforce what he was paying her originally, just because you you're so evil, blah, blah.
There is a no-win scenario. Either they listen and they submit to their husbands, and husband's supposed to do what we're supposed to do. But when we don't in those situations, the women are usually left out. Otherwise, we're overpaying, and that's a whole nother conversation. But the secret account is really a bag of planted. You hope you never depress that emergency button. But I get it, because the world is, everyone's just out home for themselves.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. It's always been told to me, at least as I was growing up, that there's the sense of security. Women need a sense of security. And especially in today's there is a cost to that security. So the question is, do you want to be forthbearing about it? It's like, okay, for your peace of mind, you have to, ask them straight out. I dare you, all of you, go home, ask your girl, what is your financial piece of security?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Because here's the thing. I actually asked you to show that. And she told me, I was like, okay, so if anything at the fan, if you had that stash aside that you have complete access to, you can sleep peacefully at night. She said, yeah. I was like, okay, that was mission one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. For this marriage to work, she needs to be at peace. And if that means if the house goes up in flames and you need to replace the roof, she knows, hey, high credo, unlock, go to the safe deposit box, do whatever, replace this roof. Because that's the financial cost of her peace of mind. If you're able to provide that, there is no secret account. There is no need for it. Because whatever mama said in the back of her ear isn't going to phase it. Shouldn't. Why? Because my husband already provided my nest egg.
That's big. Exactly.
I have a specific friend that is in my atmosphere, and unfortunately, their marriage got to a point where his wife was stashing funds aside. It broke my heart to hear that.
That's it.
I was like, why? She says, well, X, Y, Z in case we separate and I have nothing because she's a stay-at-home mom. She takes care of everything. If things hit the fan, she has nothing to fall back onto. I was like, but don't you have, she's like, no. But what about this? No. She doesn't have accounts. She does everything's in his name. And she has no email saved. So
I see that.
big brother or leaded wives or whoever that she watches and gets insight from, she'll go, oh, well, he's stashed up on her side. And you look up, yeah, she'll have about 6-7 grand stashed up for her safety net.
See, and that's my point. It's the intent of power leading for why does I have a secret account. We looking at half mass and we think, oh, they're the problem. Why is your name on the deed of the house?
See, so that's different with our marriage. Michelle's on everything. Wait, what fuck is it?
And that's why you didn't have that issue, right? For those that are in relationships that are loving, but their husband's on every document, the woman's looking at this like, wow, if this goes south, I'm in the cold. You all have no rights to that unless you die. So we got to be careful about why they would need a secret account. We got to live it ourselves. A lot of times in marriage, and this is just my truth that I've learned the hard way, our marriages are a reflection of us.
100%.
So if our wife needs a secret account, that's our fault.
Exactly.
Yeah. So are we being too controlling? Where we won't let them do something on their own and have their independence with their name? Or are we being too managing everything, like micromanaging the whole everything? Like, what is that look like?
So that's honor. See, that's not a partnership.
Yeah.
It's what was
That's a dictatorship, right?
there's a mutual understanding.
That's a dictatorship.
Right.
All right.
All right, well.
We'll wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Caffeinated Chats about masculinity and adulthood. Hope you guys got value. Like and subscribe so we can provide you with more content like this. Until the next upload.
Basically.